Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Give us just a second to get our graphs up here. So the graph on my right represents data from June of 2023. So the war had been going on for about 16 months. And this is the number of times we found components from your companies in those weapons used from Russia attacking Ukraine. Anywhere from 186 times for the analog devices, 145 for TI, microchips not here, Intel 63, AMD is 62 as well. And then on my left is a supply chain from one missile, January of this year. So one missile has components from 16 different companies, 14 are American-based companies. And then those companies have manufacturers, of course, in different companies. And then it's interesting that 80% of the problem appears to be imported via China. Certainly it appears that China is intimately involved in this process. I assume that every one of you still sells chips to China. What happens if you just said we're not going to sell chips to China because they're a bad actor? Is that just such a significant amount of your business you can't do that, Ms. Stout?
Senator Marshall, I think that with the sales to China, there is legitimate business in China. We are horrified, and this is really troubling to see these numbers on these charts, but we are doing our best to prevent diversion. And I think with China specifically, there is legitimate business in that country.
Thank you. Ms. Gurr, it's the same for you all, that this is such a significant market, we just can't stop selling them chips.
Thank you, Senator Marshall. Actually, America's national security is of paramount interest, and we are very careful to comply with U.S. export controls all over the world.
I understand that, but are they a significant market? So could you just stop selling chips to China, period, end of game? You can't trust them.
Well, we never sell anything to China that requires a license without first getting a license, and that means extensive U.S. government review. So we're very careful about that.
Mr. Whitner, do you have manufacturing facilities in China?
Thank you, Senator. We do not.
Ms. Thompson, do you have manufacturing facilities in China?
Yeah. Texas Instruments does have manufacturing facilities in China and across the globe.
Okay, Ms. Scurry, do you have manufacturing facilities in China?
Senator, we are a fabless chip design company.
That's Greek to me. Do you have manufacturing facilities in China?
We don't manufacture our own products. We partner with manufacturers who are mostly outside of China.
But so then you do have some that work in China?
I believe there's a small amount in
Ms.
China.
Stout, do you have a presence in China?
We do, Senator. We do have a presence there, and there's probably approximately 1.5% of contract manufacturing that we do in China.
My next question is, how do you monitor third-party distributors in China? How do you handle that situation, Mr. Rittner?
Well, first I'll just say, Senator, China, is the number 2 economy in the world, and the sales that we make to China, the proceeds are reinvested back into the United States so that we can develop the latest and greatest semiconductors. In terms of doing business in China, we follow the same model. We have authorized distributors whom we vet before we contract with them, and then we also monitor them.
Ms. Thompson, the same question. How do you handle the third-party distribution from China?
Yes, over the last years, TI has spent tremendous effort moving from a global distribution network to 75% of our revenue coming from direct sales. All of our distributors, except for 2, are based in the United States. One of them has 75% of our distribution based in the United States, just outside of Denver. We have 2 distributors in Japan who are members of the Global Export Controls Coalition and have similar export control regimes prohibiting sales to Russia, as do the United States.
Mr. Rittner, From January to October 2023, it's been reported that there was $351 million of Intel components imported into Russia. So from January to October 2023, $351 million of Intel components imported into Russia for use as battlefield goods. You would agree with me that that's a true statement? Would you agree with me that that's a failure of sanctions? How does this happen?
Well, thank you for that question, Senator. First of all, we do not sell into Russia. We stopped all shipments and sales in February of 2022. So any items that are showing up in Russia, our position would be they are coming from unaffiliated third parties.
Well, obviously, yeah, you're stating the obvious. Is that, so we failed. We've absolutely failed. What can Intel do to keep that from happening?
Well, we believe that it requires a collaboration with industry, with government, and with NGOs to work together to pool the information we each have so that we can build stronger compliance programs to identify where there is suspicious and activities that would lead to potential diversion.
In the meanwhile, while you're forming these committees and chatting about it, thousands, tens of thousands of innocent people are going to keep dying. I think that that's an insufficient answer. I think you've had every opportunity in the world to do this. I don't know why we continue to engage China when they continue to participate in the murder of all these innocent people. Ms. Scurry, how do you handle the third-party distribution situation in China?
Thank you, Senator. We comply with U.S. export controls all over the world. China's no different. And for distributors, for example, we collect point of sale, so their onward sale data on a weekly basis, and we screen that to make sure that we understand where all of our distributors' onward sales are going.
And that's working.
We believe that that is working.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for holding this hearing. Mr. Rittner,